What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Boisvert MMA Roundhouse. With me, as always, my sidekick, my main man, Dangerous Dustin Adam. What's up, brother?
Hey, how's it going, Bobo?
Not too bad, man. All right, let's get right into it. The drama that was UFC 210. Got two retired fighters. We got some controversy. We got some decent fights and some boring fights. What do you think?
Some good ones on there, especially the main event.
Sure. Let's get started. Let's talk about, I don't know, Cote versus Alves. What'd you think of it overall?
Overall, I think we've seen Alves. I think he looks better at this weight class, 155. I think it was just too much of a weight cut for him. But I think he's starting to, come into his older self he was back in the day. How
Uh,
about you?
I wasn't 100% immediately impressed with him just because it's such a he's so far from his former greatness. I'm not insulting him anyway. I just thought, I thought you included, I thought, people were a little more in love with him than possible. But he was fighting Cote, who is no joke. He's got a hard
Seasoned
beard on him.
vet.
Yeah, no doubt. I liked how Cote came out and he kept putting I think it was the left. Yeah, it was the left. He kept putting it out real soft, like a Muay Thai stance. Like he was training specifically to fight a Muay Thai fighter, who we know Alves is.
Yeah.
He used it pretty well until he switched up stance. It was a pretty good fight at the time. I mean, I don't know. Alves he put Cote down for a little bit of GMP there in the first. Other than that, there wasn't a whole lot going on. I was looking for a lot more action out of Cote. Alves started firing multi shots, and I think
He
that's where,
started
yeah,
bloodying him
right.
up, and
That's
yep.
when everybody was starting to say, yeah, he's Alves is back. I slightly disagree, but one quick thing I did like, the ref Todd Anderson. There was an alleged, not alleged,
It did happen.
it grazed
Well,
it or whatever. But
yeah,
anyway, in
it was
lieu of a
weak.
supposed nut shot, the ref says, and I like this. That's why I'm giving him credit. He says if he's moving, it's legal. In other words, it wasn't on purpose. After a kick to Cote's nuts. What was that in the third? And long story short, basically, it was a good fight. Great back and forth. I definitely gave it to Alves on a decision. If there was any other way for a Cote to fight to go, I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, and it was a little bit of an odd moment because Rogan wasn't sure what to do. Usually, this new thing now where it doesn't matter who they talk to first, which was we seen all night. But we'll get to that. Cote throws his gloves down, retires, and talks to Rogan first.
Yeah.
Uh, I thought it was a good going away speech. I liked it.
Yeah, no. Both guys last night, excellent going away speeches.
Right, right. Don't ruin the surprise, though. The
Yeah.
surprise is for you guys. You guys are gonna get some great controversy, and yet another retiring. In any case, we saw the Gonzalez Calvello fight. It's kind of where we said it would go on the last podcast. Let's skip to Weidman and Musasi. Before we get into the obvious, one of the biggest controversies I've ever seen, and I gotta start this off with, it was 100% Dan Mergliotta's mistake. I don't say that as an insult to him. He's one of the coolest guys ever. We've seen him live. You know what I mean? He's a great guy. This was his mistake, and it was then immediately after that, it was the commission's mistake for not. When the referee has if the referee has the final say, then the referee had the final say. The commission screwed up at that point.
Yeah, they should have never even been in there.
Here's the problem now. When you bring a doctor in, he at that point takes over all else
Yep,
because of the
he's the boss.
supposed well-being of the fighter. So it's a whole bunch of mess. In any case, let's fill the fans in on exactly what happened. The fight started off as as usual, it was going back and forth. I thought Musasi was looking pretty good. What did you think really?
I mean, the first round, I guess Weidman got the takedown, so I don't know. It wasn't really an active, but second round, Musasi was looking good, hitting him with shots, and then
I thought it was almost stalematy before the drama went down.
exactly.
Listen though, how fun
I
is it?
don't know though. Musasi, he lumped him up, man.
No, no doubt, he dinged him bad. You can see today. If you see his face today, I bet you it looks way worse than last night, as well as we'll get to here in a minute, Cormier. But what do you think though? How, like I said about Longo and Sarah, it's like the greatest part of the fight, just listening to them screaming instructions to their fighters, whoever their fighters are. It's one of the greatest parts of that guy, and Longo as well. But Sarah, just he brings it out, man. It's so fun to hear him.
It is. He's a loud Italian. It's awesome.
Indeed, indeed. I thought Saucy was looking good on the ground, which kind of surprised me. And then anyway, long story short, we have just a while back they changed the rules a little bit on because and this is real. Fighters were doing this.
Playing the game.
If I'm standing up and I have both of my feet on the ground and both of my hands on the ground, or if I have my knees on the ground and a hand on the ground, etc., etc. Fighters were using this, so you can't knee me, etc., etc. They changed the rules slightly, so. Unfortunately for Chris Weidman, he was playing that game. Unfortunately for Chris Weidman again, Mousasi was playing that game way better.
Yep. He knew if he pulled them arms up.
Absolutely. He lifted him up, kneed him, lifted him up, kneed him. Mergliata, unknowing that, for some reason, whatever reason, as I said, everybody makes mistakes. I like Mergliata. This isn't a Mergliata issue, though. In my opinion, it was 100% his mistake. He calls it for a knee. Now, here's the thing. Everybody's saying, oh, Weidman was out either way. I doubt it. Here's the thing. If you watch the fight again, please, everybody, watch the fight again. As soon as the knee hits him, he's fine. A split second later, Mergliata comes in, and then he holds his head and sits down. That's what you do to get the full 5 minutes, so the crowd don't start booing, etc. He did nothing wrong, in my opinion, and he was less hurt than he acted initially. What do you think?
I mean, he might have played it up a little more when the ref stopped it. I don't, like you said,
I firmly believe he did.
I don't think he was as hurt. And then, there you could hear in the ring, are they calling it this and that? And then he's fine.
Right.
I don't know.
Now, if you see, okay, he's sitting down. He holds his head. Mergliata comes in. Now, Mergliata, by commission rules, by the way it works, he gets the doctor in. You bring the doctor in. Now, all of a sudden, everybody, there's drama. There's a loud quietness in the officials area, you might say. Rogan's screaming, this is blah, 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 because Rogan's always on the ball. You ain't going to get nothing by Rogan.
Exactly.
Or Cruz, for that matter. So now you see Mergliata goes a little bit out to the cage, out the door, a little teeny bit, and he's talking
to Big John.
To Big John, the official on the matter. Now, I don't want to say what he said because I haven't.
Well, Big John said he's seen the replay.
Right. That's it. But what exactly he's telling him as far as a ruling, we don't know. But at that point, he goes back in and gives it to the doctor, basically, who says, no, he can't continue. Well, based on what? Based on Weidman's belief that he took an illegal knee, or based on Weidman says I can't continue, which he didn't say.
Exactly. So I don't know, man. That was just a mess all in all.
A double whammy. As I've said, listen, the ref, final call. Final call. This is a great example of why, and it's funny because we were talking about this before. They've been talking about it. Instant replay in this position, this case would have worked perfectly. If you hear during the fiasco, you can hear the replay goes and Rogan he commentates the replay, and you can hear, I think it's Mergliata says, hey, look up at the camera to either Weidman or Mousasi. I think it's Weidman, and then they show him again when he talks to him, and Weidman even admits, oh, okay, yeah, my hands were off the ground. But it makes no difference at that point.
No, it doesn't.
That's nobody's fault, in my opinion. It's a horrible mistake. If anybody's to blame for any mistake, it would have to be Mergliata's wrong call. And then the commission's blatant screw up after that. But I understand
Well, listen, Mergliata didn't mean
Nope.
that. I mean,
Right.
It did.
Right.
Blink of an eye, I mean.
Absolutely. And with these new rules being changed specifically for that situation, and then once again, this adds to we need instant replay. And, I mean, that's shitty for both fighters. If they don't call this a no contest, they better give me a good excuse as to why they wouldn't, because that's a travesty on a whole bunch of sides. I'm not pissed off at it in any way. I'm not going to get online and hate UFC for it, but wow. So they give it to Mousasi by TKO as of now. Obviously, Chris has said he's going to fight this. This would be something I would, as they say, waste time to fight. You better believe it. And one more quick thing on the afterwards at the presser. Musasi was saying how he was back to his whole "I'm not getting enough money by UFC" thing, and I don't know how much he's getting or how much he deserves or how much he's not getting. That's not something I try to get into on my scale. We wouldn't know, right?
No.
So he mentioned his hair color and his race, or because he's not white, he's not getting them. That absolutely pissed me off. It
It's kind of corny. Woodley kind of chimed in with this a little
right.
earlier. It's MMA. It's an international sport. So to bring race into it, I don't know.
Well,
It's
that's my
corny.
thing, right?
It's corny.
Well, Woodley's side is a whole little kind of different aspect of it, but my thing is nobody is ever going to tell me MMA and UFC in general in this specific situation is not diverse. It is the most. It's as diverse as NFL. It's as diverse as
More,
is
more.
right.
This is
Absolutely,
worldwide sport. So
absolutely.
I don't know. Whatever.
You can bet with Major League Baseball, there's a few countries they're going to get players. And you can bet with hockey, it's the same idea, et cetera, et cetera. In MMA, we're all over the goddamn map. I don't want to, and I hate when these guys get on here and say, what do I got to have blonde hair, et cetera. That's just my gripe. Nothing. I'm not sure I'd say it to the man's face, but it pissed me off. Anyway, let's get to the,
Main event.
yes, indeed. All right, so what do you think?
I mean, I think
I know we
Rumble tried wrestling an Olympic wrestler, and
we both picked. We had the same picks for the night, and
I had Rumble myself. I was hoping to see him land them hands, but I don't know. His game plan was not what I think everyone thought it was with the amount of wrestling he tried doing.
I think he thought he was going to come out and get an early KO, and I think I thought that too. So it's not like it's some foreign thought. But he came out with these weird kicks and those that close. Did you see that kick within like
They
a
seemed
third of an
pretty
inch from him?
effective, though. I mean, he was landing on his thighs,
Which tells us he had a game plan of kicking. He
which actually worked for him in
He
a way. He broke his
smashed
nose
on one of them. Do you see if he missed the other one? And even DC, to his credit, mentioned if he got me with that second. This is how.
Yeah.
If he got me with the second one, he would have took me right out. And this is how aware DC is at all times. He may not have the UFC fighter look, as they say, but he's definitely got a wrestler's look. I'd say that.
And DC looked good last night. I ain't gonna lie.
Don't he always?
People hate on him, but
Listen,
guess what? DC's coming through.
Here's
And
how you beat up a muscle bound guy. You tire him out,
he
or you
did.
drop him fast.
He made a clinic of a tiring out.
100%.
And he hung on him, just wrestled him.
Listen, and I say this, with respect. You know, Rumble started out trying to keep distance. He was, and when he would get in the pocket, get out of the pocket, and he was doing it great. But that pace tired him out faster than I think he thought. Because let me watch the beginning of the fight. Rumble looked great in the pocket, out of the pocket, in the pocket, out of the pocket. He was doing a little bit of damage, and then he got tired out, and
Cormier started hanging on him, wrestling him.
hug
and-
fest ensued.
But I mean, he did it good. He wore him down and eventually sunk in that rear naked.
Yeah, and another heads up to DC with absolutely no ill effects from an obvious broken nose. There's a line down the damn thing. I've had broken noses before. I've had more than 2 or 3. My nose is deformed. I know what they look like and I know what they feel like. And this man, it didn't bleed. He didn't even
Nope,
look like
he
he
took
was
it like
talking
a
different.
champ.
He never complained about it.
Nope.
So good for him.
And shout out to Rumble, great fighter. I mean, hate to see you go. You're in your prime.
Well, let's look at it. I mean, and how many times has he lost to a rear naked choke? I think 3 or 4 times. Of like, I don't know what to say other than he gets gassed. He gives his back. I mean, I'm not saying anything
I
other
mean,
than
he's always had a tough time with good wrestlers. I mean, Kazchek beat him. I mean,
right. That's still shock to me that Koscheck destroyed him.
well, Rumble probably cut 90 pounds
Right.
to get down. That was when he was fighting.
And we seen what was it a few years back? Rumble was his weight before UFC took him back. I kind of wish he didn't come back to UFC, man. Maybe he would have still been fighting. But
Oh,
anyway,
he'd destroy any Bellator light heavyweight. I don't know.
He retires. Rumble retires after this fight. Loses, retires, and you broke a scoop this morning to us, which is
Possibly, maybe playing football now. L.A. Rams. I don't know.
when you hear what he said last night and you hear the scoop you broke to me this morning, I like that. It sounds
Hey,
about right.
get money. You
Get
know
money.
that.
He could be way more and listen, in NFL, they make you wear helmets so you can't be an individual, and I still think he could be more of an individual in NFL than he can at UFC.
Well, especially if he's playing defense.
Correct. Yeah, and then he retired. That's, I mean, it's too bad. We had two retirees last night. We had crazy controversy. It was overall a great night. It was a great smack in the face to anybody that don't think we need instant replay. I wanted to get into a couple of side notes. It was kind of cool, I guess. Maybe corny, maybe cool how Jimmy Manawa and Bones got torn to shreds by joking broken nose DC.
Yeah, he beat him up pretty good.
Damn, I mean, what do you got to do to DC to put him in a mood not to talk, man? Great for him, though. He's selling himself, and I love seeing him on TV too. I think he does a great job talking,
Oh, he
commentating.
commenting
Yeah,
very well.
you can't hate the guy. It's great. Yeah, what do you think though? I noticed it seemed like Cruz was kind of stepping on top of Joe's words a little bit last night. I noticed it a lot. Like Rogan would make a comment, and then Cruz would
Well,
say, "No, it
yeah,
ain't this. It
you
ain't
got two
this."
alpha males right there,
Certainly,
so there's
certainly.
gonna be some headbutting at some point.
And
It's inevitable.
right, and as much as I don't really love Cruz, he's not usually wrong. And as much as I love Joe Rogan,
He's not usually wrong.
right, but if I had to give, I mean, if you put those two in the same position, that's going to happen. But I guess in the long run, I mean, Cruz is more experienced with the
Cormier
conversation.
giving Goldie and Zuffa the shout out. That was
That,
awesome.
yes, I'm glad you mentioned
Even
that.
class act. I mean,
Yeah,
telling John Bones, keep your head up,
I'm glad you mentioned
in
that
another
because,
time. That's much respect to Rumble. He went out like a man.
yeah, he dragged on a little at the end there, but
I
I
think he
felt for him.
wasn't prepared for that,
Yeah.
so
I thought it was a little weird when he's like, "Oh no, Dana didn't know," blah blah blah. But I seen a report where Dana said, "No, that's how we'd want it. We wouldn't need him to tell us or nothing, etc. We and they hope the best for him, etc." So apparently, you can just drop it on the.
mic dropping out.
Apparently, I'm not sure I would do that to a company, and I'm not saying it's wrong that he did that because obviously Dana don't care and he pays the bills. Well, he's the president of paying the bills anyway. Let's get facts what they are. What do you think overall? Not a bad pay-per-view.
Out of a 10, I give it an 8.
I'd give it an 8, sure. Just for the controversy and the drama. I don't know. It's told us everything we needed to see. Unfortunately, Musasi didn't go nowhere with this fight. Neither did Weidman. If anything, Weidman took a step back. I don't think Musasi took a step forward. What do you think? Kind of a wash.
Yeah, I don't know. Scratch that whole fight.
We know where DC is now, but can he beat Bones? I still don't think he can.
I I don't either, honestly. I don't know. Bone just got his number. He's the real champ anyway.
I think Bones can.
Granted, he fucked up or whatever.
Right.
He's the champ.
Well, I mean, that's no offense to nobody, but I think.
And I think this nice break is probably going to help him out too. He's going to come in healthy for
Oh,
that
yeah,
fight,
yeah.
100%.
The cruise effect, as I call it. But I think Bones can go out all night snorting coke binge and drinking and still beat
bust
all
him,
that
and he already
division.
did.
Yeah, that's important to mention. I don't just like him or not. That dude can straight up fight. He ain't big. He ain't huge. He's got skinny legs. He will whoop some ass.
That's for sure, and he has.
Right.
One loss, and it was that whole Hamill fiasco with the elbows or whatever.
Right. He
So-
comes. It's funny too. He comes from a family of bigger dudes, football players, his brothers.
Oh,
It's
he
just such
says his brothers whooped his ass.
Yeah,
so
dude.
there you go.
That's what helps. Thanks to my brothers for beating me up all my life. Anyway, that's probably going to wrap it up for this edition of the Boisvert MMA Roundhouse. Be sure to catch us whenever possible on YouTube and on Facebook. Dustin, what do you think, brother?
Woo!
Over and out.